Next full, we command in the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, they don't need to pretend. DC rep is strong and we fight to the end. Command is moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. K-Dot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divider with city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, or shit is shit.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I'm Amit. That is K-Dot. This episode, bittersweet. The Washington Commanders season has finally come to an end. It was a 55-23 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship game. And this is the post-game reaction, the post-game recap. And so before we begin this episode where we conclude the season, we'll have more District Divides to come, of course, throughout the offseason. If you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot.
Do your part. You need to do your part. Punch an Eagles fan when you see him. And let's share this shit!
Share this.
Keep them humble.
Seriously, we appreciate it. So share this shit, please. All right, and without further ado, we got a game to recap over here. So once again, it's the post-game thoughts. We lose a crazy score, 55 points for the Philadelphia Eagles to just 23 for us. And it was a tough game, K-Dot. And yeah, I'm sure we'll dive more into the box score, of course. But first things first, just your reaction to the game and the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl and then just the way it unfolded.
I woke up this morning and I woke up this morning, I had a little fun. And then I went and got a cheesesteak from a cheesesteak spot. And I didn't see a lot of Commanders fans. I saw a lot of Ravens fans in there, but we were all talking. It was basically the same. The sentiment was universal. Beat them dirty bird bitches. Okay? Beat them. Beat them for us. Beat them for everybody. Ate my damn scarf down my cheesesteak. I will tell you, when I was leaving my house today, I looked my dad in the face. He was in the kitchen. And I came upstairs. I was playing hell to the Commanders, hell to the Redskins the entire day. Go upstairs, tell my dad, I'm like, we're about to beat them Eagle bitches. Feeling good, Dad. Feeling good. And rah. See my brother-in-law. He's an Eagle fan outside. For the whole neighborhood to see. Fuck your Eagles, bitch. And got in the car. I was feeling, this is the happiest day of my goddamn life. And I've been married. Fuck that marriage. I love today. And I still love today. As much as it pains me that these sons of bitches are going to the Super Bowl. It doesn't bother me that we lost these motherfuckers. It bothers me that they're in the Super Bowl. All right? I still feel great. Y'all have heard me say from the beginning of this season to last week to every fucking episode that you can remember. I feel good about where this team is. I understand it hurts me to see the heartache and the pain of Jaden Daniels, Dan Quinn, and Austin Eckler, and all these dudes that played their asses off all season long to get to this point. I know how hard. Well, I think I know how hard. I can never fathom what it is they do, right? Day in and day out, all throughout their fucking life. But goddamn, I could talk about the refs. I could talk about the turnovers. Bottom line is, we were a lesser team that went up against a better team, and we played a lesser game against their better game. We lost. We deserve to with the way that we played tonight.
Yeah. No, I think you said it incredibly well. To beat a team like Philadelphia, I'm going to focus on the game right now because my true, raw, authentic reaction is, yes, what a ride, but man, like K-Dot just said, losing to Philadelphia when the opportunity was to go to the Super Bowl and what losing means is that they go instead. There's a little something there, right? So there's still some processing happening there. We knew ahead of time we had to play a really good game. And the wheels just came off in this magical run. I mean, we're talking about 3 of the most bizarre fumbles that we've had all season, right? I mean, we'll get to the pick at the very end, but that was a formality at that point. The game was basically out of reach. And by the way, Jaden Daniels, 29 of 48, 255, a touchdown, a pick, an 83.2 QBR despite losing. Once again, that's from 0 to 100. He had an 83.2. So according to ESPN anyway, he had a great game. Passer rating 72.8. Okay. And he also had 6 carries, 48 yards, touchdown on the ground. But this game almost felt overish from the jump. The moment the first turnover happened with De'Ami Brown, it was just like, oh, it was a bit weird. The guy punches his teammate's hand, which touches the ball, which forces the fumble. It was like, all right, well, whatever. That's one. Jeremy McNichols has a fumble on seemingly the first bit of contact that occurs. And it's like, okay, I mean, 2 fumbles is a whole lot. And then finally, we get the ball back. It's 34-23. We got a bit of momentum after the touchdown, 2-point conversion. Frankie Louvu stops Saquon. That forces a punt. And then Austin Eckler fumbles. And it just felt like, you know what? This is where it was meant to end, unfortunately. I mean, because these turnovers are so uncharacteristic of the special team that we had this season. And so that hurt. But as I'm talking through that, and now I'm processing the loss as I'm talking through that, I mean, what a magical season. Like, it was truly, K-Dot and I did an episode before the season where we said, what is our ceiling for the year? And K-Dot said divisional round. And I'm here to tell you that while I got the answer technically correct, because I said NFC Championship game, K-Dot, you were correct. Because I could not fathom nor understand or be able to even begin to process what NFC Championship game truly meant. The ride that we just experienced, the magic that we just went through this season. When I said NFC Championship before this season began, I did not understand what it meant. This was unbelievable. And so at that time, that was Amit the Dreamer, just to be fully clear. And it was beyond anything I could have dreamt of. And so that's what I'm attempting to explain here, is that it was that magical. And I did not give it enough respect when I said NFC Championship game is my ceiling this season.
I don't remember saying divisional round, so trust it. Like, I don't remember it. It sounds like I might have smoked something. But
wait for it to happen, but we didn't fully understand. Anyway, go ahead.
But now it's, yeah, man. The game itself, like if we focus on the game itself, because like, look, there's gonna be a whole off season. We're gonna go through the free agents. We're gonna go through if there's gonna be any coaching changes, which doesn't seem like it'll be because of what's happened with the schedule. You Cowboys, you stupid sons of bitches. But as far as this game itself, I will tell you this. I still felt confident going into the fourth quarter. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. If I'm being brutal.
I was too.
It seemed to me that the fumbles were frustrating as all get out. Hearing Nick Sirianni has coached him up, especially on the Eckler one, that anytime a guy gets up, the first thing you need to do is punch for that football. I don't like that motherfucker Sirianni, but I will give him credit. He's coached the fuck out of those guys as far as that goes. He deserves credit. Kudos to him as far as that goes. The McNichols fumble pissed me off because, like, bro, you're a running back. Nobody punched shit. Like, you just dropped the motherfucker like that. I didn't like that at all. But it felt as though what was going through my head the entire time was like, just keep it close and the magic will continue. And it's like you keep going, and then you don't have enough magic in you to get through the end of it. It's just, it was too much to bear. And you go into this game not turning the ball over at all in the postseason, and then just cough it up constantly in this one. And it's like it's the thing is, like, every game that we've gone into in these playoffs, I cannot tell you that we're a better team than Tampa Bay. I cannot tell you that we're a better team than Detroit. I would have never told you we're a better team. Well, team camaraderie stuff, I'll always pick us against Philadelphia. But as far from a talent standpoint, as far as like who's playing the game and what the output you're getting from what it is their play is, we're not on Philadelphia's level. We know this, right? But that's part of the test. I loved hearing Jaden Daniels afterwards, like, it hurt me to hear it, but I also was like, you need this, son. You need this. You need to know you have that chip. Never again. It'll never happen again, right? Like, you need these moments. To think that this rookie quarterback was going to lead us and be the thing that was the vessel that got us to the Super Bowl, the level of There's a level of hubris that needs to take into account as far as that goes. It's nuts. It's fucking crazy. But and we were almost there. So like you look at that, nobody will ever forget the season and everything that we had. But like this game, it just when it rained, it poured. Early on in the game, as far as Saquon Barkley, 2 touches, 2 TDs early on in the game. And yet we were still in it because it just looks so similar to other things we've seen, which is that we've seen offenses outclass at certain points in the game, but like we're still in it. Like the defense did just enough on that drive. The offense is still in it just a little bit. And I still think up until the fourth quarter, we had a legitimate shot at winning this motherfucker.
Oh, K-Dot. Again, touchdown, 2-point conversion, and then Frankie Louvu makes that stop to just kick them out of field goal range. That's the magic. Like that right there is like we may do this, right? And so then Jaden gets the ball back, and it's going to be down to the 2-yard line, but then they review it, and the guy actually stepped in the end zone and blocked, and so now we have it at the 20. It was like, we've seen this before. Like, This is the magic of the team. This is the magic of the moment. This is the magic of 1991 that, Bills are destiny, also in at that time. It's destiny. And yeah, for the win to come out of the sales with the Austin Eckler thing. And again, kudos to Sirianni for coaching that, for talking about it. Like, hey, they're a good team too. And they have across the board an excellent roster. And so now it's on us, and we'll talk about it like K-Dot had just mentioned over many, many episodes of District Divided about the offseason, about who we're picking up. We've got plenty of cap space. We've got plenty of draft picks. So we are going to make the team around so much better. Let's talk about the quarterback. I mean, he's been the guy that's, for everybody. Of course, diehard fans are going to be there no matter what, like you and me.
But like, Jalen Hurts?
But the Jaden Daniels this year brought so many people together. And once again, his performance, I'll read the stats again: 29 of 48, 255, a touchdown, a pick. Then you add in 6 carries for 48 yards and a touchdown. Like, he was really good. I know that the passer rating is 72.8, but the 3 fumbles were not him. Like, the pick at the very end was, yes, we're pressing. I get it. Like, this kid's rookie year was fantastic. In the game, he was doing what he needed to do, I felt, to keep us in it and keep that magic going. It's amazing to have this, they joke about it, a 10-year vet, as a rookie being our quarterback, but he really is that. Like, once again, huge moment, biggest game of his life, throwing out a QBR of 83.2, which was higher than Jalen's, by the way, like Jalen Hurts. You can't help but feel that the future is incredibly bright because that guy can perform under any circumstance, K-Dot.
Yeah, I mean, of course, everything. The future is definitely bright. This was not my favorite Jaden Daniels game. It was he did a lot, but it also came like we do the preview show, and I'm like begging the rest of the team to step up for the rook, not let the rook carry you, right? And it's like this was your guys' opportunity to step up for him because he did just enough. He did enough. He did enough to win. Like, especially when then you add on top of that the fact that he's a rookie. It's like, what the fuck more are you going to ask from this guy, right? Did he miss some shit? Yeah. Did he hold in the ball when he didn't need to sometimes? Yeah. Did he not throw it away sometimes when he needed to? Yeah. Did he throw it away sometimes when he did, when he needed to? Yeah. I got impressed by that. A couple unnecessary hits, things like that. But it's like, I'm nitpicking a fucking rookie who did everything in his power to get you to this particular situation. And I can't look across the roster and say that a bunch of rookies are the ones that coughed the fucking football and coughed the game. He did what he was supposed to do. Right. So like that part of it sucks ass. There's no getting around that. Like, but as far from a learning opportunity, like I look at this and I just say that like there are certain things that showed their head in this particular game that we always knew were certain issues for Jaden. And I look in this offseason and say that fucking VR headset's going to be tuned up to make sure they take care of this shit. Like when you're trying to get pressure where your front four and you drop how many in coverage, there are some struggles that he has with that. And Philadelphia, we knew going into this game was something that they were absolutely going to do, right? They tried to take a lot of, like, I don't think I'm going to do an all 22 for this game. I guess maybe because it's off season basically, so we're trying to pack some episodes in.
Right.
But I'm guessing the coverage was good. Knowing Philadelphia and as far as the coverage went, I'm guessing the coverage was pretty good. But I didn't see a lot of deep shots. Is that because Cliff Kingsbury wasn't necessarily calling it? Is because we didn't necessarily have enough time in the pocket to make it happen? Some of those pockets look really clean to me at certain points in the game. So it was like, oh, I don't know. We knew that Zach Ertz was going to eat just because of the way that certain things broke out. And Philadelphia was like, go ahead, give it to him. We're not worried about his fucking yak. Do whatever you want to do with Zach Ertz. It's kind of what it felt like the game plan was. And if that's the case, maybe everything was completely shut down. If I go on some stuff that I've seen previously, maybe he didn't take the shots when he needed to take the shots. I don't know. But I still think regardless, if you look at what it is he did, if you look at what he did on the ground, if you look at what he did in certain key spots in this game, he did enough. The one pick he has at the end of the game, and trust me, he's about 4 turnovers and 28 points off those motherfuckers is not okay. But the throw to Terry, I mean, Queen Mitchell, get a boy some fucking credit. That was a hell of a play.
Tips to himself.
At that point, you're pressing the ball down the field. You just got to take some shots, right? So, I get it. That one, it's whatever. It's whatever to me. But it's just, yeah, man. If you look at Jaden's performance here, I'd still were there some rookie moments to me in this game? Yeah. But overall, if you were to look at this, would I say that I saw a rookie quarterback playing? If I didn't know who he was, you just showed me the tape. I don't know. He had some rough game. He had some rough plays, but majority he did enough. The motherfucker did enough for you to win the game if everybody else did what it is they're supposed to do, and they didn't.
Yep, completely agreed. Because then let's talk about some of the other stuff. So the running game, Brian Robinson 11 carries, 36 yards. Austin Eckler 8 carries, 15 yards. So that's 19 carries, 51 yards. That's not great, right? In a spot like this where we know that we need to be able to produce more than what is even expected. And that is unfortunately either at expected with the way the running game has been recently, save the Detroit game, or below what we expected. So that's not great. 55 points. I think maybe a little bit harsh considering their turnovers as well, but the defense didn't have a good game today. Quite symbolic was the very first touch for the Philadelphia Eagles on offense where they just pitch it to Saquon. He breaks 2 tackles. It was Quan Martin and Jeremy Chin, and he's gone. 60-yard touchdown. And it's well, okay. Is it going to be like that the whole time? And the answer is kind of yes. It was 15 carries, 118 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Saquon Barkley. And normally he just scores the 2 against us. This time it was 3. So we knew there was a Saquon problem. And continued to be one. And then AJ Brown, X factor of the game in my book. 6 catches, 96 yards, and the touchdown. He did not implode. He did not get angry. When he finally did, I mean, he was already in the game against Marshawn Lattimore. We could talk about refs too and how that was just on Marshawn. But anyway, K-Dot defense, running game, just not good enough.
Running game, no, not good enough. And there were also aspects of the running game. I remember saying that even if we didn't have success, we got to kind of stick with it at certain points in the game. And I didn't feel like we did that. But once again, I feel like I'm going to have to watch the all 22 just for my own fucking curiosity to see what it is that Philadelphia was doing and what it is that we didn't do. Because at some points, you're almost kind of wanting to question Cliff Kingsbury and some of the play calling. But then you're like, maybe they were shutting shit down and I just couldn't see on the TV. Because also, Fox with some weird fucking angles on shit, especially those kickoff returns. Would you stop going that goddamn camera angle? I can't see shit. It's just so dumb. I don't understand. Why can't everybody just give us fucking Prime Vision? It's the best way to watch football.
You do love Prime Vision.
It's so good. If you look, there's not a soul, anybody that has watched Prime Vision and not come away with that's the way that things should be. It's just so that you know what the fuck is going on. Here's the thing with the defense. I want to criticize. Look, 55 points. You're supposed to criticize the defense, but once again, how many turnovers? So
4.
Right. So and we know what this defense is. We know this defense is not a defense that's going to be world beaters in the sense of stopping you from scoring points. They haven't stopped anybody from scoring points, really. The problem is that at certain points during this postseason or on this run, we've been able to have stretches of at least some complimentary football to get us out of the situation we were in. And that didn't happen. When the defense was doing a pretty good job, offense wasn't doing shit. When the offense is doing a pretty good job, defense ain't doing a goddamn thing. So it's they couldn't. There was no symbiosis through any of this shit. That was frustrating. It was because there were moments look, I don't know if you were watching the same thing I was watching, but they showed Saquon on the sideline. Look, me and you did a good job calling Jalen Hurts is full of shit.
Yes.
That fucking bullshit with his leg. Fucking fought us out. But Saquon, something was up with Saquon and that calf. And you can see they had Gainwell in there for that. And I'm looking at like, are they about to do the Ben Johnson Gibbs thing? Like, are they about to do this shit? And it's not. They would have kept we just saw what they did with Saquon against LA. They would have kept his ass in there for 30 carries if he needed, if he could have done it, right?
Yeah.
I really do think that there were some opportunities in this game. Gainwell wasn't doing shit in the run game for them. And we had stretches of the game where Saquon wasn't really all that effective. But like when you have those moments and the offense isn't doing what it is it's supposed to do to take advantage of that, right? Or they're coughing up the fucking football and giving them short field opportunities that even when shit's not working. All right, here's Jalen Hurts' turn. And now look, I'll come back to this motherfucker because we got to talk about Lattimore. But Sanders still has done an amazing job for the most part. And once again, he's a fucking rookie, and rookie cornerbacks, you got to give him some leeway. Although if you look at some of these Eagles defenders, I'm kind of like, maybe you don't need to give him leeway. But there is an angle like how far Sanders still is playing off. And when AJ Brown sticks his foot in the fucking dirt and does that pivot, Sanders still is like, whoa, on fucking skates. Like, it just can't do it. So it's like automatic 10 yards at any given point. And then there's few receivers as physical as fucking AJ Brown. So he was having his way with him at certain points. Yeah, fuck it. I can't skate any further.
Go ahead.
Lattimore, dog. The New Orleans game came on here, told you in the all 22. Nobody had any stats on him because nobody threw his way. But I didn't see anything on the tape that made me think he did anything.
Mm-hmm.
Then he gets the shit kicked out of him in a couple of these games, right? In this game, he got the shit kicked out of him. Like, AJ Brown had his way with him at certain points in this fucking game. And then also the post-game shit. Did you see the post-game?
No, I'm missing this part of the Marshawn Lattimore thing. I was too depressed, to be totally honest.
Lattimore, they asked him, what do you think the factor is in the game? Well, you can't turn the ball over.
He said that.
He said that.
Okay.
Didn't love that. Can't say I didn't love that. Look, there is an aspect of Lattimore. Like, maybe I'm being a little unfair, and I'll tell you, everybody in the comments, like, let me know if I'm being unfair. Let me know if I'm being unfair. But there is an element of Lattimore that, like, every time I see him, it's like one of these things is not like the other. He just doesn't feel like he's a fit. There was even when he was getting chippy and getting into it with AJ at certain points, you see the rest of the team trying to like get his ass in line, and it just felt like it wasn't working the way it needed to with Marshawn. Man just feels like he's on an island by himself. I just don't like this fit. He hasn't done a goddamn thing in this uniform that makes me think that he needs to be around. Because look, his stat line was great against Detroit, but guess what? The number one threat in Detroit is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Guess where he was lined up? In the fucking slot. Guess where Marshawn Lattimore wasn't? In the fucking slot. So what? Like I don't have anything on that contract and that trade that we made. It's the one thing that I look at throughout the course of the season and be like, I didn't like that. I can absolutely say after the fact, that's the one thing I can 100% say that I didn't like. Yeah. Like, I got criticisms for other things, but like the defense, Frankie Louvu. Look, man, that tush push is bullshit. We all know it's bullshit. We all know that the offensive line is actually legitimately lined up offsides to begin the fucking play. It's immediately illegal the moment they line the fuck up, right? Louvu, you sick, twisted, lovely bastard, you. I want you to retire in the burgundy and gold. Those jumps over there, like, it's going to get mean to death. I already got set like 10 of them bitches. Like, it is going to get meaned to death, and I love it. That shit was awesome. You do everything you fucking can do to stop these fuckers from doing it. And you fucking refs, if they're hard counting, they're trying to get us thrown off sides. How dare you say you're going to award them points for? We're trying to stop the tush push, you bitches. We're trying to stop it. Did you even see? Did you hear? I remember you were depressed. Bobby Wagner said post game as well. During that entire series, he was trying to tell the refs they're lined up off sides. And the refs basically told him, go fuck yourself. If you guys do it again, you were given points. Like, I don't get that. And once again, the refs, shit day. Sean Hockley, you get both of these. I don't give a fuck about you and that entire crew. Fuck off. Like, truly, fuck off. But I will not, under any circumstances, say that you were responsible for this fucking loss. But I'll say you didn't fucking help shit, and you need some. And I hate, if I see, this is some like Tim Donnelly type shit. Right? This is some NBA reps. 7-0. Fuck that shit. Okay. Fuck off. Fuck all the way the fuck off, Sean Ockley. I don't want to hit it. There was the way they called this fucking game. I was so fucking frustrated. Like, all right, encroachment. Are we going to take into account that he fucking gouged his eyes out? Like,
Yeah.
what?
That could have been a personal foul. The one on Mikey Sanders still, it's hard to tackle Saquon Barkley. He had half a step out of bounds, and all of a sudden that is a personal foul. Yeah.
They need a first down here. Give it to him.
Yeah.
What can we make up?
It was, yeah. Refereeing, of course, from our perspective, and also losing as much as we did, extremely tough. Won't be the reason we lost, obviously, just to be clear, but very frustrating nonetheless. So that's appropriate. Marshawn Lattimore, that's a really interesting point. Does this end up being something where it doesn't fit? Maybe that's something we could. It'll be something.
It's a blemish. It's a blemish. I think it's a blemish so far.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sure. So far, I would agree. So far, I also think that like Marshawn choosing to say, "Hey, we can't turn the ball over." I honestly think sometimes if you're that dude, I think it's almost like he cannot acknowledge that he didn't have a good game. And so I know that's a very interesting thing moving forward. It's good that you pointed that out and we have a time capsule of that.
Just to be specific.
Yeah.
The way that you just put that, he got there eventually. That's not what he said to begin.
I see. Okay.
So
like I'll listen to the full
the we of it all, but it didn't feel that way. Like if everybody else, in my opinion, took responsibility for it first and foremost, and then talked about the we of it all. I didn't love what I was hearing. And then they also asked him about what him and AJ's thing at spat was. I understand not getting into that. Look, I might just be frustrated with Marshawn Lattimore. Thus, I'm telling everybody, watch it for your fucking selves. Come in the comments and let me know if I'm overreacting. But I mean, here's the thing. You're the one who convinced me that Marshawn Lattimore was the wrong move. Like, you remember? Like,
I remember.
And then you're kind of like, well, maybe that. And I'm fully there. Like, I think it was a bad thing. So, like, I'm already there. I think it's the one thing. It's the one thing I can look back on since they took over and Adam Peters. It's the one thing that's unlike everything else that's happened. And it's the one thing that I look at where it's like, if that's your big acquisition, I cannot tell you it's worked out so far.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Any final thoughts here, K-Dot, before we move to the common mailbag?
Big one. And I know this is going to be semi-controversial.
Sure.
I will admit, when I was watching the game with Palabu for Life and some other commenters and some other shit, kicking the field goal on the first drive.
This isn't controversial. Go ahead.
Look, I will tell you, in the moment, I did feel like a little bitch when I was like, just get the points. But then I realized that as soon as I said that, it felt like the little bitch in me from other points in the season where I said I'm wrong. And that what the team is, and we got up to this point by going for it. It was 4th and 3. Like, to me, it starts to feel as though, I don't want to believe this, it starts to feel as though it's not this is who we are as much as we don't trust Zane Gonzalez at certain ranges. And that to me is that there's a difference there. There's a difference between the attitude of, hey, we don't need field goals now. We need fucking touchdowns against Philadelphia. And this is the mentality we're going in with, compared to, yeah, we already went for it. We got it. And now we're choosing not to do it now because we're in this range. Just felt like mismessaging. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I remember being surprised. Actually, there was sort of a mixed reaction with the people I was watching it when Zane Gonzalez trotted out. One person, shout out Paul Valmareski, same guy I watched with last week, was like, you know what? We need to see if Zane's got it today, right? Like, it's close enough. If he makes it, kicking games available to us, you're up 3-0. Okay, cool. I'm also thinking, it was a long drive, close to 7 minutes, and you can put pressure on these guys to score immediately. They did. And then there was also the other crew. That was Yoni, who was on last week, shout out, and a couple others. And we had just gone 2 for 2 on 4th down in that drive, the opening drive. And you're like, hey, feels like who we are is to go for that.
100%.
And that's where I ultimately landed. And it was within like 2 moments, I was just like, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
I was
figure.
also surprised we did not go for it. I know it sucks at times in terms of just like, our pulse and, heart rate and stuff like that and blood pressure, but it is who we are. And I think we did deviate from that. And I agree. I don't think it was controversial, K-Dot, to bring that up. I think it was something a lot of fans who have been following this team the whole season questioned. Like,
Yeah,
why did we
in a
kick
moment this big in this game, it didn't feel like we were being ourselves in that moment. And like I said, there was a part of me that bitched out at first, but I was the only one in the room initially that had that bitch out feeling. And as soon as everybody else said, dude, what? It snapped me back to reality pretty fucking quickly. And like in the moment, the only thing I was rooting for, I don't know if you saw this, but pre-game, there were Philadelphia fans messing with Zane pretty badly.
Oh, I didn't see that.
They were going after him about his OCD and all kinds of shit. They were like really, really harassing him. So there was a moment to me that I wanted some vindication for Zane. I really did. So like, I think part of that was kind of rattling in my head. Like I wanted him to shut those fuckers up. But it did not feel in that moment, at that yard, at that down and distance, at that part of the field that it was the thing to do. And once again, there is not any singular thing that it caused us to lose this game. It is the amalgamation of a ton of fucking shit over the course of the entire game that just proved, once again, the magic sauce ran out. We came up against a better team and we played a lesser game. And you're not going to win. You're not going to win.
Yeah. And that's going to happen to you sometimes. So those were the post-game thoughts. And now we go over to the comment mailbag, which features an intro from our very own Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. The district divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
All right. Thank you as always for that intro, Nikki. We begin with D-Smoke 252. Shout out. Oh, yeah. Feels good to be first. Share this shit. That is one. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate you being first, D-Smoke, on that.
First time long.
What'd you say? First time, long time.
First time long.
First time, long time. And now we go over to Coach Lombard, who also has one post game. This is the one pregame. So, Coach. Philly settled for a lot of field goals versus LA. Washington has the better QB. Philly has the better team. 32-20 Philly. Go Birds. Player of the game, Saquon Barkley. Well, player of the game was definitely Saquon Barkley. Birds won. And unfortunately for us, the gap here in Coach's prediction was not wide enough. It was a 12-point win. How about 32 instead? Get out your reaction.
Yeah, I'll beat the shit out of us. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of your assessments over the course of the season about what it is that our team is. I still do think that Philadelphia has some flaws. Maybe by beating the shit out of us today, it brought you guys a little close together, which kind of aggravates me. But you can't be reading books on the fucking sideline. I think that your team is okay. It won't work for me. But congratulations on the win. I hope Kansas City beats the everlasting shit out of you.
And I think I'll save my coach bit for later because there is a congrats on a Cinderella season, stuff like that. So, Coach, we'll address at the end. Vindo, OG, shout out. Nick Sirianni money launders 10 Philly pizza shops somewhere, I swear. On that one. Ridge, where your helmet at goes, Kadeen better suck it up and still go eat that fucking cheesesteak.
Did it.
Which you did. Your reaction to those two comments there.
Nick Sirianni is a punchable motherfucker. I think I lost my final bit of thinking. I don't even know if I had that much respect for him, but I lost what little I did have of him after the whole Zach Ertz thing. The only person on that Philadelphia sideline I hate anymore than Nick Sirianni is Big Dom. That fucking fat fuck. I say that as one fat fuck to another fat fuck.
So you're like, so I can say it.
I can say it.
I mean, yeah, Big Dom being the celebrity that he is absolutely.
You saw him. I saw him like 3 times in this fucking
I know.
I was like, what the fuck are you doing here, man? Get the fuck off. Just get the fuck off my TV. Why are you known? Like, that's how fucking demented that team is. Why are you known?
Right, your security guy is a huge celebrity. We know why, because he's needed. Like, it's just anyway. The Nathan Perry shout out Ref the District, who have also done an absolutely fabulous job this entire season and seasons prior as well. So give them a follow, subscribe to their channel as well. Nathan goes, this team plays hungry. Here's hoping they continue a historic run. How far does the Jaden Daniels effect reach? Good QBs elevate their team. Are players stepping up because they see they have a shot with JD5? Who is the one that has raised their play the most during this run is the question. While we think about the answer to that, got to say, hey, shout out Tress Way, huh? That fake punt was pretty cool. And it went to the Senator. Ben Sinnott with the big catch on that one for 23 yards. Got me fired up. Go ahead, get on.
I got to pat myself on the back. And I know that no one will believe me if there wasn't witnesses.
No, it's okay. Myself and Matt Anderson, who were watching, also were like, it's a fake.
We called it. Yeah. Like, it's a fake. It's a fake. God, that Tress Ray playing backyard football, man. You look like a good old father. Just launching football.
Spun the ball. He looked at it. He like caressed it, and then he spun it in his hand. Was like, cool. And just
well, I know he still had to maintain the fake as far as the punt, but it did look as though, yeah, it absolutely. But no, it's a good throw. Like he had to layer that throw in there between two defenders.
It was a good throw.
Give his name a good throw. What the fuck was I going to say? What was that comment about? I had something.
Who is the one player that?
Yes. That's a hard one, honestly, because like if I look at like who has been the standouts for us this particular season, it's some of the wily veterans that we didn't know how much were left, right? So like Zach Ertz has definitely done more than I thought he might with us. Austin Eckler has always been a dude, but after the injury, we weren't entirely sure what you're getting with him. He elevated his game, but I don't know if it's because of the rookie. Frankie Louisville, I thought was a dog back in Carolina. He just wasn't getting his just desserts because he was in Carolina. So like I don't know if that's the case. What I do think happened at some points, and it might have happened in this game, it definitely happened over parts of the season. I think some guys get in their head a little bit too much, and I don't know if that's pressure because they want to be able to perform for Jaden. But like when I see a Jeremy McNichols fumbling that way in this particular big situation, I see a guy who might be trying a little too hard. When I see De'Ami Brown getting ball punched out, when you're just trying to break as many tackles as possible, and it's like you see some of these veteran receivers at certain points, especially in playoffs, they'll just go down. It's like we can, and you're like some of these guys are trying. And we've seen over the course of the season, there have been times where, like, even the coaches staff be like, the guys are in their heads a little bit too much. And maybe there is pressure to try to live up to what Jaden's doing. And that what we're seeing is the talent discrepancy between the try hard and who can actually get stuff done on the field. But I don't know if I can actually say, maybe the O-line?
Look, for me, this is going to sound a bit weird because we know he's a certified baller and he's our guy. I
don't want to say Terry.
I'm gonna.
You really? Right.
Yeah. Only because that's 3 straight games with a touchdown. It's not something that we're particularly used to. And I also I don't want to slight Terry either because I know that he's fully capable of this. So I just want to say that. But in terms of another guy that elevated, that's the way I'll answer it. Is so Jaden played great, but another guy that stepped up lockstep with him was Terry.
That's fair. Yeah, that's
right. Fair. So that's the way I'm going to choose to answer that. And I think Terry was magnificent this entire postseason. When we needed a play, when we needed someone to break a tackle, when we needed a speech that's going to make you run through a wall, Terry was the guy. Terry was enabled by good quarterback play for the first time in his career. You see that video come out where he's dancing on Friday to Meek Mill. This dude is beginning to access a different level of energy that I think he's always had in him. He's just not been allowed to. So that's who I'll say raised their play, but I don't think it's a surprise. So that's how I'm answering that.
That was a good way to kind of massage it on there. I just think it's always been, I'm with you. It's always been there. He just hasn't had the guy to be able to take it out of him or to be able to deliver the football to him the way that he needed to be delivered or have an offensive coordinator scheme up things to get him involved the way they need to get him involved. But I think it's always been, except for Eric Bieniemy, who I think just took a little bit out of his personality, I think, last year.
Yeah, well, he was running a lot of cardio. And then Tony.
Shout
out Tony OG. Did y'all hear about Jaden Daniels doing a jersey swap with Lions corner Terry and Arnold and wrote Cancun on 3? 1, 2, 3. Football Jesus is a troll. Yeah, it was borderline unbelievable, and then I was like, you know what, that's fucking awesome, and I'm about it. I see it because they also had a rivalry at Bama and LSU. Go ahead, kid.
Tonight solidifies something I might do this offseason, which is crazy to me because I don't even buy jerseys anymore. I might get me a JD5 tattoo because when I saw the Terrian Arnold thing, I lost my shit. I was like, I knew you had some dog in you. I knew you had that kind of dog in you. But what I think solidified it tonight was the video of the players returning to Dulles, and Jaden's out there signing autographs for everybody. And to me, it's like I damn near wanted to cry because it was like, and I remember when I came back home and I talked to my dad when I got here, and he was just asking me like, because he sent me a text like, "Don't get too drunk." I was like, "I'm not A-Train, no worries." But it's like,
yeah, I could have used that text.
Me and him were just chatting, and he's just like, I can't. I'm so happy that you're getting to see this, and I was like, I just can't describe to you how happy I am that we got this guy, and it like, I truly, truly believe it's not our last time going to be here, and I truly believe that we're going to see him only get better, and I'm pinching myself that we're here, especially after a weekend I've been jerking off to that fucking Dan Snyder article.
Oh,
is that good?
Oh my lord!
So good.
Yeah,
like,
in that sense, we won.
But the thing with me that I thought about after I read that article, I know this is a little tangent, but I feel like he'd have ruined him too.
Of course he would have.
And that to me is where it's like, this is where I feel so, because after reading the article, and you said this to me, I am definitely of the idea, and you said this last week, Dan Snyder does not believe he was the problem, and I still think if he thinks that he could draft a quarterback and it would all have been fixed, he would have fucked this up terribly. I am so happy for Jaden, for us, that he is no longer there to ruin that shit.
Yeah. I mean, remember, one of your big keys this offseason was, hey, don't make this kid the savior. And look at what Chicago did. They had that like hologram of Caleb after he was drafted talking to the draft party being like, I'm going to fucking save you guys, basically. Like, and in the meanwhile, we signed eye candy Sam Hartman. We're like, look at him. And this guy's developing in the meanwhile instead. And it worked. It worked. And this kid's developing and he's quietly going to work. And the coaching staff is doing their level best to contain their excitement. They're like, oh, he's not the starter, but they're like, oh my God. Like, you know, like that's what's going on. So that's not happening with Snyder.
No, not at all. I was talking to Brennan the other day because he was asking me with the whole Jaden thing, do I still believe in my philosophy on how the way to develop quarterbacks? I was like, yes. Anybody else wants to try this Jaden Daniels thing and hope it works out that way, do your best. But it also, things had to happen in a certain way. I still don't think they wanted to make him the starter, but Mariota, he was absolutely outperforming Mariota in training camp, and then Mariota got hurt, and it was a done deal, right? But what I look back on, and I don't know if you've done this, but I look back at any of the sound bites that I could hear from podcast interviews or anything from like local reporters talking to Dan Quinn and especially Zach Ertz. They are trying not to get too excited about Jaden to anybody.
Yes.
Like they're trying so hard. Then you see every once in a while something to slip out and they try to like rein it back in because they're just they're not like, they know they're seeing something truly special and like, we don't want to make him savior. We're not trying to make him savior. We're not trying to do that. No pressure. It was great. It's great. It's fucking awesome.
By the way, we're now something we did learn. Dan Quinn, you want to play poker with the guy if you want free money. Because that word association, I decided to go back and watch a couple of our episodes, just a couple of quick segments and stuff. We're like, hey, did that mean anything when, he said Caleb, DC, like somebody else athletic, and Jaden Daniels game changer? We're like, no, of course not. Hey, when they were at the LSU Pro Day and he's giddy and looks like a kid at Christmas and is hugging Adam Peters, did that mean anything? No, of course not. It meant everything. Both times. Like, this guy was so clearly in on Jaden Daniels that
He absolutely was. He absolutely was.
So just heads up, and that's a little timestamp for us also when we're covering the team this offseason. Dan Quinn says something, we're gonna listen.
Just listen to what he said.
Just listen to what he says because he'll tell you exactly what he's feeling. Game changer? Yeah, game
That's a little different.
Christ, Dan Quinn. We go to Mr. Payne. 1 through. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm laughing.
When he tells me that Ashton Genty is Jesus, that's when we know.
Yeah, we're taking him. Yeah. Mr. Payne goes, so happy for the young Redskins / Commanders fans and us old heads, who have been waiting 35 years for this moment. Again, 33 years between championship game appearances. A truly, truly special season. And can't wait to see what the future holds once again with a lot of cap space, draft picks to come, and standards to set. Jaden Daniels, this much I did hear, K-Dot, because I was very interested to hear from our quarterback more than anybody. I was like, okay, I'll listen to Dan Quinn. I'll listen to others at some point. I want to hear from the kid that played the game. And he carried himself like a vet. You could see the pain. You could feel the pain. You could hear the pain. But he also all ready to be able to say the right thing. I don't know if he truly knows it because he hasn't experienced it yet, but to go, hey, this is the one time we have a locker room like this. You hear Aaron Rodgers say it a whole lot, and he said it more and more and more as he got older. For Jaden to already be saying, hey, you know what? It's going to be a new locker room. We're going to get new guys, and we've got a standard that we need to show them. He already knows that he's part of the brain trust, that part of the team, like leadership. That's like, I need to help set the standard here. Was like, wow. No, just very, very impressed.
I fucking hated you bring up Aaron Rodgers in this. Really?
No, I mean, it's just the guy that, like you tend to hear a lot about. So
Nikki reported or wrote this, and he said it in the press. This is the one that stuck with me.
Yeah.
We believe that we belonged here. I don't want to ever feel like this again. But you got to deal with it and move on. That, to me, that's going to be the next thing that's like plastered in Ashburn. Like that's the next thing that'll be on a fucking wall in Ashburn. I believe him.
I do too. Again, we hear about this kid being in the building before the vets.
Like, motherfucker might start showing up at 3:00. He might live.
Yeah, he might.
Again, we know he ain't fucking. So
he might be there tomorrow. I mean, who knows? Like, kid's a demon, man. He's incredible. Mr. Payne with another. Mikey had 2 INTs. Quan Martin pick 6. Jeremy Chin 1 INT. Armstrong 2 sacks and a forced fumble. The best part about that win, of course, against Detroit, was both teams won in the regular season with 5 turnovers. Then, ironically, we caused 5 turnovers. Jedi wears 5. Commanders fans are the family of 5. Share this shit. Get out your reaction.
That Detroit game is going to be something I look back at a lot. It's like peak. It's peak. It's peak
really
this
was.
season. Like I will say the I don't think I've had a better week of life between that Detroit game until the 61-yard run by Saquon Barkley.
I know.
Like that. Like if I can bottle up that time in my life and just replay it, outside of that night that I had to do the all 22 on my floor, like between that, like I mean, you know what? Fuck it. Even with that night, I loved this week. I really, really loved this week. It was a great time, man. It was a great fucking time.
It really was. Really
this whole season's been so much fun. Like the thing is, like looking back, just remember after the Chicago game and after the Cincinnati game and after it's just like there's so many moments.
No, I mean doing this pod just now is like helping me process the loss and have such a great appreciation for the season that we've had. Honestly, what a ride it's been. We go over to Coach Lombard with another one. I was never divorced, but I was seriously suicidal in June. Oh. Thank you for mentioning it in a sensitive media environment. As much as I find Commanders fans annoying, like crypto bros that went to public school, I'm glad that K-Dot and Santo are still here. And if having a good team after 33 years of bullshit is a part of that, I can support it. Get up. Your reaction to the comment.
This might be the only reason I'm here, Jaden.
Go ahead.
I didn't know that we were sensitive media. Like that's I actually like.
I think it's something that's not necessarily talked about, especially on like sports podcasts. You know,
like I'll tell you, I'm an open fucking book. If y'all want to ask me anything, you want to ask me. I'll
I
answer.
appreciate about you.
Like,
Yeah,
I got no shame. I'm pretty open about shit. Plus, I don't know if you don't watch SNL, do you?
no, not that often.
SNL did a bit this with the Timothée Chalamet episode, where it was in order to get men to be more forthcoming, your doctor's offices are now set up like podcast studios. So every guy,
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
It's a good bit because it's true.
Well, Coach, I am glad that you're here with us too.
Same here.
It's not just Kate outside, so anybody else for that matter.
I just wish
Glad
you could
you're with
relent
us.
on that fucking fandom.
Yeah, seriously, Coach.
It'll
Okay.
forever be a flaw.
We'll get to your congratulations at the end, at least from me, but it is a flaw. Mr. Payne, again, with a few actually. See you in New Orleans. Share this shit, man. I wish. I'll go ahead and answer that one. Then we've got call me crazy, but I think Trent Scott will handle Jalen Carter with a couple thumbs up over there. Early on, no. I think later on, it was tough. It was tough for the offensive line. And I mean, that's the thing. When you're going against a supremely talented defensive line, and again, we'll get into it in the offseason series as we continue to go, what do we want to spend money on and stuff like that. Let's see what Adam Peters does. Trenches need some love, man.
I saw Chris Paul out there.
Yeah, so...
Which goes back to, you remember I said that I thought that they should probably shift the line?
Yep. Anyway. Mr. Payne also goes, this the rubber game? Right. Buy your rubbers and let's bang these Philly birds and show them who's in command. LFG. Share this shit. We'll have to wait till next season now, unfortunately. Kate, your reaction.
What they got will burn through any rubber. Don't trust it. Don't trust it at all. Oh, and the New Orleans bit. I don't know if the Commanders YouTube page uploaded Hail to the Commanders today or the game day. And it sounds very New Orleans Zydeco. So I think they were trying to get something going. If you were in Baltimore City today, you definitely heard me blasting either Hail to the Redskins or Hail to the Commanders on a repeat with my windows down as I was leaving the city today. You heard it a lot. And I'm sorry for all my neighbors that heard me yell at my brother-in-law and yell, fuck you, Eagles, and then scream Hail to the Commanders over and over and over again. I apologize to the entire city of Baltimore.
No,
not really.
No apology needed. Yeah, I was going to say no apology needed whatsoever. Mr. Payne with a couple more here. It needs a score, 52-10 Commanders. I had said 27-23. I even rewatched the episode. I was like, did I not announce the score?
Better.
I did. 27-23. I think Mr. Payne needed me to have a more emphatic score. I think that's where that was coming from because he was like 52-10 Commanders. Your turn. Say it. 52-10. And then here's another. Rams barely lost with a young defense. Put some respect on our defense. We have a Pro Bowler / All-Pro on every level of our defense. Pay attention and share this shit. And unfortunately, again, 55 points given up. Some of it a bit harsh because, those are needless turnovers, simple turnovers from offense and special teams respectively. But nonetheless, not going to get it done. Talent gap, exposed. And yet another testament to Jaden, right? Us getting to the NFC Championship game. Yes, we finally played complimentary football. I think going back to Nathan's comment of like, how does he elevate people? I think that elevation was clear, in prior rounds where it was like, hey, if I just make that one play, this kid will help take me to the next level. And that's what we saw. And, we just ran out of gas on this magical season there. That's the way I view that.
I would have loved to see Deron Payne in this game. I still don't think it would have mattered. I saw failures at every level at different points of the defense. Like that Saquon run. Defensive line, fail. Bobby Wagner, fail. Chin and Quan. You're trying to upper body strip.
Yeah, the upper body tackle was...
It's Saquon Barkley. You're out of your fucking mind. Like, what are you doing? Like, it was just off the rip. It was just like, did y'all forget what you're doing or who you playing? Like, what?
Yeah. Big Papa Grizzly. Shout out. I have to believe that this is history in the making. All season long, we have been hearing how this team hasn't done this or that since 1991. Who did we play in the Super Bowl in 1991? I think we see a Washington versus Buffalo rematch on February 9th. Let's fucking go. Hail, share this shit. And Big Papa, I'm with you because there were so many moments, like you said, that we would hear since 1991, since 1991, since 1991. And all I could begin to think about was, well, I know what else we did in 1991. Exactly to your point. And once we beat Detroit, that all came flooding through my head. And it switched from, man, what a ride, to Philadelphia's our opponent. We have the opportunity to play Buffalo. Congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs for getting it done. They are now 1 win away from a three-peat, unless the Philadelphia Eagles, who just beat us, have something to say about it. I also was thinking Washington Buffalo. I was like, hey, this may well happen, K-Dot.
I never thought that was going to happen, but you don't bet against Chiefs, but don't bet against Chiefs. Yeah.
You want me to continue?
Yeah, just keep I'm not trying to be rude. It's just it was supposed to catch up with us at some point. And I think it's good that it did.
Mm-hmm.
I think for long-term success, it's good that it did.
Oh, yeah. And I think this also really helps Adam Peters out too, because if we had lost a close one, or if we had won and then we lose in the Super Bowl and there's a certain camaraderie amongst the squad and stuff like that, like, it's cool, but we need upgrades. I mean, we do. A 32-point blowout's like, all right, cool. I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and do what I need to do. And here we go.
Yeah, I don't know. I said that. And
I trust Adam anyway, just to be clear, but like, This is the exclamation point of like, okay, we know Adam's going to do just fine.
I instantly regretted what I said. If you got a chance to win a Super Bowl, go win a fucking Super Bowl. Who gives a fuck? You got the Super Bowl, right? Whatever you got it. But I want us to be competing against Mahomes over the course of the next decade. I don't want this Mahomes is Brady in his 2 stints with the 10-year gap. I want us to be in this dance year in and year out. I need everybody to take their lumps when you need to take the lumps and go through the learning process as best as possible. It's just he learned the way I'm putting this season as far as Jaden, he learned more than almost any other rookie could have learned over the course of one season.
Yeah. And I'm going to save my Mahomes, Eagle, all that stuff at the very end with Coach's comment. Jim Sleazy, shout out. The Eagles were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago because they beat the 49ers with Josh Johnson at QB. They cannot use injuries as an excuse. And nor did they, because hats off to them. They took it to us. They played a great game today. And then we got K-Man's 60, shout out. Couldn't have asked for a more exciting matchup. Can't wait to watch this game. Go Commanders. And there's one more from K-Man 60 over here. I'm with predicting 2 missed extra points is wild. No chance. Missed deep field goal, if anything. Zap, congrats. There was a deep field goal missed by Jake Elliott, wide right, and it looked like we were going to see some momentum over there as well. Just didn't happen. But yeah, no 2 missed extra points. I was definitely wrong about that. And you were spot on about the missed deep field goal over there. So well done to you, brother.
Washington was dad who was calling in real time.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And we conclude, at least for this episode, very fittingly with Coach. Okay, so this is Coach and this is Postgame. Congrats on a Cinderella season. Washington is way ahead of schedule, and Adam Peters' work was historic both in terms of effectiveness and success rate. I think Washington will split the series next year, and they will likely win the division. It's a 20-plus year pattern, and Dallas and New York ain't doing shit next year. I said all week that Washington hadn't earned this and compared Commanders fans to Giants fans in 2022. Washington was just massively outclassed by the much better team. Even I didn't see a 50-burger. Quinn and Witt Jr. are absolutely leaders of men, but their scheme doesn't compensate for B-tier talent. Looking forward to free agency and what your very well-run team decides to do. Go Birds. K-Dot?
Coach, I agree with some of what you said. There are other parts of it that I want to reach to whatever and strangle you. I will not call this team a Cinderella story. I don't like that phrasing. I don't like the idea that we turn into a pumpkin. I think we are who we've been all season. I just think that there are some points where you could shoot yourself in the foot and sometimes where you didn't shoot yourself in the foot. I still think up until the fourth quarter, as much as we were shooting ourselves in the foot, y'all motherfuckers were still kind of scared that we were going to come back and use some of that magic on you. But yeah, when you look at the final score, when you look at the amount of turnovers that you got, and here's the thing, wasn't just turnovers, you caused most of them. So you get credit for that shit. Yeah, I mean, just the Commanders fan in me and knowing the Eagles fan in you, fuck you.
So Coach,
love you though.
Yeah. Coach, first and foremost, congratulations. Okay, congratulations to your Philadelphia squad that I think thoroughly deserved the win. And again, those were takeaways, right? You punched those things out. So
Except for
McNichols. Yeah. But you've done it all postseason, forcing turnovers against the Packers, forcing turnovers against the Rams, Saquon doing his thing, and Jalen Hurts, to his credit, had a good game. So congratulations, and we'll see how you guys do in the Super Bowl. And I will say this, you guys better win it, because if you don't, this is the worst team we're going to have around Jaden Daniels. You saw what he said in his post-game press conference that, hey, I'm feeling this one. And I know with this kid and how special he is, that window for a lot of teams is not as open as it once was. And we've got a brilliant organization here for the first time ever. And it's clear enough that even we, people that are not used to it, can see it. So you can narrow the gap from 3 Super Bowls to 2 against us, because what we have cooking here, I don't know how many we're going to have at the end of this kid's career. So go ahead, get it now. And I'm serious. Get it now, because the way he's built and the way we're going to be built, this is the closest you're going to get. Serious. So good luck. Win it. Stop the three-peat if you want to. It'd be great. But it's also a shout out to Mahomes too. I'm feeling it right now. Like, I think we've got that dude. And I think we've got a brilliant front office. And I love the coaching staff. And I think we're doing things the right way. So enjoy, but look out. Get out. Anything to add?
Dallas is fucking stupid. New York, I don't know what's happening. It's between us two. And as much as I could say, especially after reading that Dan Snyder article, it kind of put everything in perspective of my entire fandom here, is that as much as I've hated you guys just because of the fandom of Philadelphia Eagles fans, I can admit that your teams have outclassed us over the course of the last 2 decades. Not anymore. I know what it now feels like to be a real football fan. I feel like Pinocchio. I know what it feels like to be a real boy, Papa. Like, it's we're here, and no love anymore. I'm ready to beat the shit out of y'all every time that we get it, and we gonna be right there in it. And I still think that if y'all lost this game, Nick Sirianni's getting fired, and that's coming out. So I was hoping for, but we're here. We're fucking here, and I know you guys were a little afraid. I know you were. And you should be going forward. I appreciate you knowing at least to some degree that we're probably going to win that division next year. But I'm ready for this shit. I'm ready for this shit. I want Philly. I want them all the fucking time. Bring it.
And with that, that was the show. This was District Divided, a DC sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. Unfortunately, a loss, but the future's bright as hell. I'm Amith. That is K-Dot. And if you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot.
Punch a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and then share it.
Share this shit. We thoroughly appreciate you guys. Thank you for rocking with us this entire season. Really, really appreciate all the love, the support, the comments, everything. We're obviously continuing throughout the offseason as well. Is it twice a week? I'm not sure. Is once a week? Yes, the minimum. And so we will continue to see you guys and keep you updated on the schedule as well. So please continue doing your thing. Keep rocking with us. And thank you so much for rocking with us this season. So until then, take it easy, everybody, and enjoy.
Bye, everybody. Bunch of Eagles fans.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.